Hey guys, it's Leo here from Winchester. Welcome to a new video where I'm going to talk about my 15 predictions for Supernatural Season 15. Two questions before I dive into the video you might be asking. First of all, why am I wearing a Marvel shirt in a Supernatural video? Well, it's not like an endgame pun because Season 15 is the last one or anything. I'm going to make a new video explaining that in details. The second question is, why 15 predictions exactly? Well, because Season 15 obviously, and it's just cooler to have 15 predictions about Season 15. As simple as that. Let's get right into the video. Alright, so to my first prediction, Billy and the Cosmic Entity will make a deal with Jack in the empty because after Jack gets killed by his grandfather, God, he wakes up in the empty looking confused what's going on, and we see Billy and the Cosmic Entity kind of like surrounding him and kind of want to talk to him, make some kind of deal. So what I'm thinking is they're gonna make a deal with Jack, bring him back to life, restore his soul so he's good, he's not messed up anymore, and he's gonna have him save the boys from that crazy situation God puts them in with all the zombies and monsters at the end. So it's gonna be like a Deus Ex Machina Jack, once again, saving the boys from that crazy situation, either killing all the monsters with his powers or simply teleporting them away from danger. The second prediction is very connected to the first one. So as I said, how Billy and Cosmic Entity would help Jack get out, get back to our world, restore his soul and all of that, because we know Death can do that. Original Death have done it to Sam before. But the second prediction is all the big scary monsters that have been enemies for the boys all those seasons, like Billy and the Cosmic Entity and all of that, will actually join forces against God and fight God alongside the boys. So instead of just helping from a distance, like my first prediction says, they're actually gonna go into battle, especially towards the end of the season, everyone against God to actually kill God. The third prediction has to do with what I said before, again, everyone joining forces. So I predict the return of Amara, God's sister, to discipline her brother because he's been going really rogue lately, and she's gonna help her boyfriend Dean and everyone else beat God. And Amara is not traditionally seen as a villain, at least by the end of season 11. She wasn't really a villain in anything. She just had issues with her brother, just like everyone else does now. So I did not lump her in with all the enemies with the boys, the big monsters, like in the previous prediction. So Amara is a separate one, and I believe she will definitely come in the picture in the final season and help the boys beat God. Alright, moving on to the fourth prediction, which is our world's Michael back, possibly still in Adam's body. Why do I say that? Because, well, the final season everything goes, and if Adam's not gonna return now, I mean, when else is he gonna return? There's been like an ongoing storyline. A lot of fans having issues with the boys totally forgetting about him. I don't have that issue because I don't care about Adam, honestly, but it'd be cool to have him back with our world, Michael. Why do I think he'll come back, aside from, like, you know, the final season, everyone will come back and all of that? Well, there's some solid theories there. At the end of season 14, God unleashes souls from hell. It's not clear if it's all the souls in hell or just a big part of him. It seems like if God would do that, it would be all souls in hell. We hear Castiel says all these things coming out are souls from hell. So would that include the souls in the cage, including, you know, Michael / Adam in the cage? Very potential, very possible. So I'll add that as a prediction that with everyone falling from hell, with potential return of other characters, Adam / our world Michael will be one of them. Alright, moving on to my fifth prediction, Lucifer's final return, because they've been teasing it all season 14. They kept saying, well, he's coming back, he woke up in the empty. Nick woke him up by praying to him, apparently, and Nick almost got him to repossess him towards the end of the season, but Jack had to ruin it, of course, has to jump in and send Lucifer right back into the empty. So it teases us all season, and shockingly enough, they have not returned Lucifer at the end of the season, which is really kind of disappointing for me because I think Lucifer is really charismatic, really cool, obviously played by Mark Pellegrino specifically. So it would have been cool to have seen him at the end of the season. I really expected that. But, you know, the showrunners and writers kind of like threw us in a loop and they did not actually bring him back. Really surprising. So I think he will come back in the final season. He's always had issues with his dad, God, you know, son, dad issues. And turns out Lucifer has been right all along. God is horrible. So Lucifer will come back and would want to take revenge on all what God did to him, locking him in the cage and all of that. And he will join forces with the boys alongside the other bigger villains like the Empty and Death. Moving on to my sixth prediction for the final season, Castiel will be taken by the Empty either mid-season or at the very end of the season. It will be like an ending for Castiel, being taken forever by the Empty. And this has to do with another prediction I'm going to talk about later, a really sad one. But they've been teasing, you know, the whole deal with the Empty and Castiel all season. but they haven't delivered at the end of season 14. So I think this will take place next season. Castiel will be somehow happy towards the end, or content with whatever happens, whatever, and the MT will just swoop in, take Castiel, and this will be the end of Castiel's storyline pretty much forever. Really sad, but you know, it's the final season, and that's already sad enough. A lot of sad things I think will happen in the final season, unfortunately. Alright, moving on to my 7th prediction for season 15. Gabriel will come back once again, because Gabriel never dies. We all know that he's a trickster, you know, he's an archangel and all of that. He always fakes his death. Already have done it twice, or at least 3 times before. So I think he will somehow come back. Last time we saw him, he was killed by Michael in Apocalypse World. We don't know if that actually stood, or, you know, like I said, Gabriel always tricks people, could have like a fake or whatever. But how would he come back from Apocalypse World if he didn't actually escape with his real self, if he faked his death through the portal? He could have done it behind the scenes, we haven't seen it. So I predict that Gabriel will join the big fight in the final season against his dad, against God. He'll come back, and hopefully we see him again. I love Gabriel, very nice character, very funny, very charismatic. So I would love to see him back, kind of like hope/predict that he will come back one final time in the final season. Alright, moving on to prediction number 8. Speaking of people coming back, Jean coming back one final time, and not as a spell or trick like what happened in season 13 300's episode, Dean wishing him back from an old timeline, whole Back to the Future thing, and then they send him back at the end of the episode, a one-time thing. Jeffrey Dean Morgan talked about wanting to come back, especially towards the end of the series, at the final season, once again. And I believe they definitely will bring him back. They'll find a way. They have to bring him back. So Dad Winchester will come back, help his boys in one final fight against God, the biggest villain on the series. Alright, moving on to prediction number 9, which is very general, you know. We're gonna have a lot of fan service moments, Easter eggs and all of that, similar to what happened in Endgame. No spoilers for Avengers Endgame. It was a great movie, by the way. Might even make a whole other video about it, which is another announcement for another time. But anyway, Supernatural will have something similar at the end of an era thing, season 15. We're gonna have a lot of, you know, throwbacks to the old seasons. We already got some of them at the end of season 14, when we've seen Lady in White, we've seen Bloody Mary, which I really loved seeing because they were great season 1 vibes, throwbacks to season 1, which I really love because season 1 of Supernatural is my favorite. So I expect in the final season we're gonna have a whole fan service bus tour going on, looking back at the series overall, especially the older seasons. We're gonna have a lot of moments like that, very nostalgic moments. As if we're not sad enough, the next season will be the final one. The whole nostalgic moments they're gonna throw in the final season, a big prediction, very general prediction. This is gonna make us even more sad in my opinion, that the series is ending next season, but yeah, definitely be a lot of that next season, I believe. Alright, moving on to prediction number 10. The kid, Jesse Turner, is Antichrist kid from season 5. The boys met. He was half human, half demon, very, very powerful. He's so powerful, in fact, he turned Castiel into a toy, an action figure, which is really funny, by the way. So that super powerful creature who disappeared since then, we have never heard anything back about him since. It would be finally time for him to come back, help the boys again against the biggest villain of the whole series, against God, because they need all the help they can get, obviously. So all these characters coming back, including Jesse, would be a big help for the boys in the final season. Alright, moving on to prediction number 11, which is kind of like a prediction / hope I have. The original Death coming back, helping the boys kill God, even single-handedly reaping God. Obviously it's not going to be as simple as that, but Death did say to Dean when he met him, I'm going to reap God eventually. I'm older than God, or at least as old as God. So, you know, I don't really like Billy, the second-hand Death we have now, so hopefully the original Death comes back. Even God himself, Chuck said in the finale of season 14 that he doesn't like the new Death and he prefers the old original Death, like almost all of us do. So I hope original Death does come back one final time. It's the final season. I mean, I really hope they do bring him back. Really great actor who's, you know, the original Death was scary, intimidating to Dean, especially to Dean, to all of us. He really embodied what would Death be in real life. He kind of looked like he would be Death in real life. Great actor, very powerful presence. I hope he does come back. Kind of predict / hope he does come back in the final season. Helps the boys one last time to beat God. Alright, moving on to prediction number 12, which is another hope / prediction. The original Bobby, our Bobby, coming back one final time in a season. So with Bobby's death, we have seen like cameos for him throughout every season almost. Last time we saw him, he was in heaven. And kind of like angels were like punishing him for helping the boys, something like that. We've never seen or heard anything back from him since. So I hope we do get our original Bobby back, just like sideline Bobby from Apocalypse World, please. We don't want to see him again. Just bring original Bobby back, because he's the one who actually feels real. He's the one who's the knowledge about all the monsters and everything in our world. He's the one with the biggest connection to the boys. The other Bobby just feels fake, to be honest, not really connecting with the boys or with us as an audience. They tried to make him too much like original Bobby, but we know he's not real. So I hope we do get our beloved Bobby one final time in the last season, helping the boys with his big supernatural encyclopedic knowledge. If there is knowledge about beating God, I doubt it, but just having him there is very important, I think, for the boys, alongside John too. Both of them are great deaths for the boys. So I hope we do get original Bobby back one final time to enjoy his presence, in the final season, and him helping the boys beat God, the biggest villain of the series, once again. Alright, moving on to prediction number 13. Remember Amy Pond from season 7, Sam's friend who's a monster eating people's brains, but she was only eating people's brains from the morgue. She worked at a morgue at the time, so she could sustain her son. So Sam found out, and he felt bad for her and let her go, and she explained to him she doesn't kill like people. She only uses dead people's brains to sustain herself and her son. Well, Dean did not like that, so he went behind Sam's back and stabbed Amy to death. Her son comes back, he sees it, and he warns Dean someday he will kill him. So the prediction for the final season is that kid would come back and try to kill Dean. I doubt would be the final one who actually kills Dean for good. I don't know about that. At least he'll show up and try. Alright, we're almost getting to the end. Prediction number 14, we're gonna see Lisa and Ben again, because Dean will have to say a final goodbye to them. It's gonna be very emotional, and I know they wiped their memories last time with the help of Cass, but somehow maybe Dean would bring their memories back just to say goodbye. Or, it's really tough for Dean to actually make that decision, because he's gonna make them more sad if he does that. But I think it's very important for Dean to get that closure in the final season, seeing Lisa and Ben again, the family he wants to spend the rest of his life with, the woman that made him happy, and he said he would picture his life happy. He would picture it with Lisa and Ben. So I predict we're gonna have a really emotional reunion with Dean and Lisa and Ben, and then a really emotional final goodbye in the final season. Alright, moving on to my final prediction for season 15, prediction number 15, which is really the saddest one for me. I'm gonna have a little tough time talking about this one, guys, which is the death of Sam and Dean, the final death of Sam and Dean in the series, or at least the death of one of them. Jensen mentioned an ending he wanted is a potential ending is, aside from both of them dying, which Jared agrees with, Jensen have talked about the ending he wanted that, Sam dies for good, and Jensen kind of like gives the keys to Impala to someone else and drives like a motorcycle away. I believe that was the ending he talked about, if I remember correctly. So either way, if both boys die for good, or we get Jensen's ending of Sam dies for good, and Dean doesn't want to hunt anymore, he doesn't have a reason to really live or hunt or do anything, so he does not even want baby anymore, and he gives the keys away and drives a bike away or whatever, or a different car. So that's gonna be a really devastating, heartbreaking ending. Either way, guys, the series ending is gonna be devastating and heartbreaking, unfortunately. Another more obvious choice is killing both of the boys. And the reason for that, Jensen and Jared talked about this even in the convention, my first convention I went to, OrlandoCon, January last year. I have the video on my channel. When Jared actually acknowledged me when I said the series will last forever, well, that video did not age well, right? So when I said, I kind of yelled at Jared when he said this show can't last forever, and I said yes it can, and he pointed at me. I was really excited back then, and you can see that video for yourself, but obviously I've been sad since I found out the show is ending next year. It came like a shock to me. I was hoping / expecting it will go at least to season 20, but it did not. So it came as a very abrupt news to me, is that the show is ending next year. So anyway, back to my point, Jared said, if the boys don't die for good, if still alive, they would be hunting, and I want to watch him hunting. Well, Jared and Jensen said that, and we would want to watch him hunting, so it doesn't make sense to let them just keep living and, not hunting, saving the world and all of that. Unless something drastic happens where Jack, fixes the universe, whatever, with all his powers. Like, some people said Jack becoming the new god or whatever. I don't think that's possible. That's a far stretch for Jack to be, a god. He has a lot of powers, but God obviously still much more powerful than him. So even if Jack fixes all the monsters in the world, there are still human monsters, which he can't just kill all humans just in case, right? Obviously. So I think we'll most likely, unfortunately, get a very sad ending. Like I said, either Jensen's ending of Sam dying and Dean having to move on, or the death of both Sam and Dean, both boys dying, going out, guns blazing, saving the world and dying in the process. So either way, guys, it's gonna be a very sad ending, unfortunately. A serious ending is always gonna be sad, no matter what they choose to do with it. So this was prediction number 15, guys. All 15 predictions for Supernatural Season 15. Let me know down below in the comments what you think. Subscribe for more awesome Supernatural content. Until next time, as always, it's gonna be very difficult to have no chick flick moments next season, but for now at least, no chick flick moments.
Because if they're not dead, then they would be hunting. And if they're hunting, I want to watch it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the show can't go forever.
It can.
Yeah, it can. It has.